Alright guys, this is going to be a series called, I don't fucking know. I'm just going to pull out the whiteboard from time to time and give you guys some game. So don't pay attention to this over here, guys. This is just a note I wrote for myself earlier after a call with a client. Today we want to talk about what your social media is looking like in terms of a funnel and how you're going to use your social media to effectively, create conversations, create the relationships that turn into real booked clients and paying clients for whatever service or product or information you provide, right? Whether you're a coach, whether you're a tattoo artist, whatever you do. So first things first, there's one major key point of using your social media, and that is, the ability that you have to do direct market research. Direct market research. This is one of the most unappreciated tools that we have as business owners when it comes to using our social media. So first things first, the way you're going to do direct market research is you have to understand the funnel that is coming from your organic content to your followers, to your sales, to your stories. So first things first, at the top of the funnel you have reels here, right? This is your organic content that you're making consistently, right? This is your videos showing off the client experience, showing off the day-to-day inside of your business, showing off how you've not only transformed your life, but transformed others' lives, etc. Social proof, all the stuff that goes into creating reels that I teach my clients, right? I take on one-on-one coaching clients. I do one-on-one mentorships with business owners to help them grow their business. But long story short, I'm gonna give you guys some free game right here. So when you create reels, generally across the board on your professional dashboard, it's gonna tell you reached a certain amount of accounts, right? If you post every day for 30 days, you're gonna reach a substantial amount of accounts. Even if you only get 1,000, 2,000 views per day, by the end of the month, you can get 50,000 new people to see your page. If you know anything about marketing, people pay a good amount of money to get advertisements in front of 50,000 people every month, right? And the truth is that you pay in one way or another, right? Whether you pay 10 grand a month for a super, centralized location in the busiest part of town just to have foot traffic walking up and down by your shop, right? It's the same process as putting in the work on social media and getting the same amount of people walking by and viewing your stuff online. So you're always gonna have to pay in one way or another. In this case, we're just paying by creating organic content, right? So when you make your reels, you're gonna get a certain amount of viewers. You're gonna say we got 100,000 people that viewed our account this week, right? I'll show you guys what my page did this month. 100K this month. This is for like an average client of mine, what they'll do with even a low amount of followers. That's about how many people they'll reach in the first month of posting every single day, effectively, the right way. In the past 30 days for me, I did 20.3 million views, 0% from ads. 20.3 million views, 0% from ads last 30 days, right? So when it comes to getting this many views, whether it's 100K that month or whatever, you can effectively sell a handful of these people on your product or service. And if you're a coach, especially a high ticket coach, off just a few people translating or transforming from viewers to paying clients, you'll make 10, 20, 30K that month just off of a handful of clients, right? Now, if you're a tattoo artist or a nail tech or somebody who offers a service, vice versa, just to stay booked up on a daily basis, you'll need a handful of those people to convert into sales, right? So this is how I effectively nurture them and understand the process of them going down the funnel. So they come in through our reels, they see our stuff, our organic content. A smaller amount of those people go ahead and click on our page, right? So this little center area is people basically viewing our profile, right? This is profile visits, PV, profile visits. Then an even smaller percentage of these people will funnel down to following you, right? And look, you guys might get 100,000 views that month and you might only gain 100 followers, but 100 followers is definitely enough for you to be booked out daily for just a couple months at a time, which is what most business owners are looking for. You just have to effectively nurture these people. So as they go down the funnel and a very small amount of these people, a very small percentage of these people follow you, then what you do is they funnel down to an even smaller percentage of people that view your stories every single day. And this is where most of that direct market research is gonna happen, right? Because a small amount of people will follow you, and then an even smaller amount of those people will view your stories on a daily basis. And the reason they're viewing your stories on a daily basis is because they're interested in your content. You post daily on your story, you talk to your clients, you know that your story is gonna become part of your warmest leads, right? You need to know what your leads are. Your leads are the people that are probably gonna buy from you or in the near future want to buy from you, right? So when people join my coaching program, especially the ones lately after I've been coaching for a few months now, they've been following my stories and my coaching stuff for well over 3 months now, just to see the results, just to see how I interact with my clients, just to see firsthand how I'm going about running my business, right? And then an even smaller amount of those people funnel down to sales, right? That is how the funnel of using your social media organically works to turn people into sales, right? Now, there's a lot of stuff that goes on here, a lot of stuff that goes on here, and a lot of stuff that goes on here that turns those people into paying clients, right? So one of the most important parts of getting from this step to this step, then to sales, is doing direct market research, right? So what you're gonna do for direct market research is you're gonna consistently be posting on your story every day, because your story is compiled, like I said, of your warmest leads, the people most interested in your product or service. So first way you're gonna do direct market research is you're gonna do a Q&A. Q&A. You should be doing Q&As 2 times a week, right? At least 2 times a week. And what this is going to show you is that you're going to get asked very frequent questions. And some questions that might seem extremely obvious to you, a client or a viewer watching might have no clue what the answer to it is. For example, I own a tattoo shop. I do large scale black and gray work. Somebody might hit me up, not really know about my tattoo shop, and ask me, hey, on the questionnaire, do you do fine line tattoos? And I'll reply, of course I do fine line tattoos. I have an artist that specializes in that. And then I go ahead and refer them to my booking numbers so they can be turned into a paying client, right? So what you'll realize is that a lot of people are one step away from booking with you or becoming a paying client. They just need to see way more market research and they need to see way more social proof, right? Social proof can be many things, but one of the main reasons people buy from you, right? And when I'm talking about social proof, I mean anything and everything that has to do with people leaving your business happy and satisfied with the result, right? So whether that's testimonials for a coaching offer, whether that's testimonials from previous clients from your tattoo service or previous clients from your hairstylist service, whatever service you provide, it's extremely important for you to be consistently providing social proof on your story weekly so that your warm leads can start getting nurtured to turning into sales, right? This whole process of turning the story viewers into sales is a long process, guys. It doesn't happen from one day to the next. Now, do I have clients that join my program and within the first month exponentially start getting clients through the door? 100%, because they've probably been nurturing those people for a while without even realizing it because they've been so active on their profile. Now, also the Q&A is going to give you a lot of questions that you're going to see that directly tie into somebody booking an appointment or somebody asking a question related to the service you provide. So when I post a Q&A on my story, I'll go ahead and see who's asking about working with me, working for me, learning from me, etc. And then I'll go ahead and rather than answering the Q&A on my story, I'll go ahead and slide right in their DMs, right? For example, this is how I closed a 7K PIF last week. 7K PIF. If you don't know what a PIF, it's a 7K paid in full is what that means. When somebody buys a mentorship or a program paid in full, they don't want to do payments or anything like that, right? So I had a question and answer that I put up last week on my story. I had a guy swipe up and say, hey man, I'm looking to work at your shop someday, right? He didn't feel confident enough to DM me. He didn't feel confident enough to reach out to me directly, even though I said I was hiring. But because it was a question and answer format, it was a lot more, less intimidating for him to ask me that question, right? So I immediately slid inside of his DMs and I asked him, I said, hey bro, how can I help you? What are your goals? Right? And he immediately told me, he said, man, eventually I live in Texas. Eventually I want to come out to South Florida and I want to work with you. And I looked at his page and his tattoos were phenomenal. I knew he had plenty of potential to grow and he only had a few thousand followers, but I saw he was staying pretty busy, right? So, excuse me guys. So from there on, I told him, I said, hey man, I'll help you come up with a game plan to get out to South Florida, but for sure you should grow your following. You should establish yourself as an artist. And then later on in the next few months, we can come up with a really deep and, effective plan for you to move out here, right? And I've dealt with artists moving across the country before. So I already know a great way to go about doing that. I've already worked with multiple artists who did it with people who worked with me, and I know how to do it effectively. So immediately he told me, he said, that sounds perfect. He said, yo, I've been following you forever. I have a ton of trust and credibility established with this client just from previous work and from previously posting on my Reels stories every single day for years in a row. He's been following me for a long time. I asked him, I said, how much money are you making right now? I have to qualify him. So from the DMs, you have to qualify clients, right? Same if you were booking a service, whatever. So I qualified him. I said, how much are you making monthly? He said about 10 to 15K a month. I said, cool, I know he can afford my program. I know that I can also help him grow because 10 to 15K a month is not even scratching the surface of what he could do with how good his work was and everything. So I immediately pitched him on a one-on-one mentorship. I said, join my one-on-one mentorship for 3 months. We'll work together. We'll come up with a plan. We'll help you get more booked out. We'll help you solidify more of a following and more of a brand identity that will follow you even when you move somewhere else, right? And I knew his work and his artwork was so good. It was extremely scalable and marketable, right? So immediately, he sent me $7,000. He paid me in full, right? I got him into the program. He's been in the program for 1 month now. His name is Jose Sway Tats, right? And in the past month, since we started working together, I think we've only been working together 3 or 4 weeks. He told me that he has booked out entirely another month of his schedule through doing the Q&As and working on his story, right? Posting reels every single day after I instructed him on how to do so. And now he's booked out even further. He's leaving his tattoo shop and getting a private studio, so he's saving thousands a month on overhead, right? And just alone off us working together, he's gonna be making 20 plus K a month effortlessly over the next few months and be able to save up substantially and have a solid plan for moving out to South Florida, you know? So this is how I use direct market research and this funnel of social media to go ahead and get piffs like this on a daily basis, right? After I worked with Josue, I talked to another client at DMs that day and I signed him for a 5K piff. So in this one day alone last week, I did $14,000 in revenue. Cash collected, right? And that was off of 3 clients, right? That was off of Josue, off of another client, and off of a previous client who was just making his monthly payment to me. So this is how you use direct market research and the funnel for your reels to get clients in for your coaching process and also for your tattoo or your service-based business, right? And the way I use this for the service-based business, I do it exactly the same. I had a client named Kenzie. She just started working with me about a month and a half ago. She is owning a shop up north, and she told me that she wanted to improve her social media, start signing more clients, etc. She told me she was only getting 1 inquiry a day. Now she's up to 20 inquiries a day, she told me, right? And the thing that she did after our first call was I told her about the direct market research. She did a Q&A. She messaged a bunch of people on their questions, and she told me she ended up closing 6 clients just from one Q&A. And this wasn't even reaching new people. This wasn't reaching out to new people, posting new content. This was followers that she already had, right? And she only has a few thousand followers as well. These people are not Instagram famous I'm talking about. She booked 6 clients just off one question and answer, answering people's questions. So you gotta make sure that you're using the direct market research to realize what your clients wanna see, what they wanna know, but also effectively answer their questions so you can turn them into paying clients. Free game. Also, if you are trying to get one-on-one mentorship from me, go ahead and click the link down below and book a call with my team.